Well, the breaking news over on Dog Post this week, it's a more positive injury report for the Dogs heading into their clash with Auburn over at Jordan Hare. There's been a real revolving door of players on the offensive line, and that's something that was updated Wednesday night and Wednesday during the day too, with Kirby Smart and his one of his two availabilities now uh, these weeks. Both Ernest Green and Monroe Freeling are listed as questionable. We're going to see how that progresses over time. Here's what Kirby had to say about both guys. He said on this is on Wednesday. He said Monroe's this was before Wednesday's practice. He said Monroe's been able to do a little bit. He's been able to run and work out and do some things, but he's still going to be more like today. Tomorrow we'll find out. Talking about if he'll play. So the requirement it takes to be able to strain and play at this level, you've got to be able to find out if he's able to do that. And then on Ernest Green, who's been out for some time now, Kirby had this to say. He said he's running, moving around, been able to do some pass sets and do some individual stuff. He just continues to get better. And, it would be ideal for Georgia to get both of those guys back. I mean, Monroe, those are your tackles. And that's a really problematic thing to have to deal with. You can see this report on Dawg Post. The injury report each week is presented by our friends at Sales Hatch. And it was just with Ernest Green as questionable and not out. That's a positive compared to last week. Monroe Freeling is questionable. We'll see if these guys start and play. I don't think that's out of the question at all. But we are at an important moment. I mean, Auburn, Georgia is always about physicality, line play, stuff like that. I think it's an important moment. If you get both one of those guys back, that'd be a big deal. But getting both back would really matter a lot. Let Sales Hatch do the hard part for you. Let them be your offensive line, for lack of a better term, an offensive line that's producing for you, getting you opportunities. What they're going to do is kick the door down in a polite way and let you have opportunities that you would have to go get yourself. The hardest part of sales and connection these days is getting the conversation started. That's the most difficult part for us at Dawg Post. We know that when everybody with us, like Red Zone, we've known them for a long time. But starting the conversation is the hardest part in all of these situations. Let Sales Hatch deliver 3 to 4 new leads. New qualified meetings each week so that you can focus on closing deals. Closing deals in many ways is the easiest part of all of this. And I would let Sales Hatch do, I said the easiest part. The hardest part is what Sales Hatch is doing. Let them take care of that for you. And if you get Monroe Freeling back, if you get Ernest Green back, it allows you to put Gaston on the inside. It just creates more of the offensive line that Georgia was expecting to have coming into the season. An offensive line a season ago that just consistently was hurt. Whether you're talking about Jared Wilson or Tate Ratledge, Ernest Green, it was just one thing after another with this offensive line a season ago. And now you're not dealing with the same thing, but you're dealing with too much injury. Part of that is playing in the SEC. Part of that is playing college football. It's hard to do this. It's a physical game. Offensive linemen are not always doing this, but someone is being tackled to the ground, physically put on the ground. A man my size or larger, you're having to put that person on the ground. That's not easy to do. I mean, particularly if they don't want to go into the ground. So, and that's just players with the ball. The offensive linemen. Offensive and defensive linemen, it's very rare in a play that they are not physically confronting another person. So it's not shocking that those guys are getting hurt. Those guys are being asked to do a lot constantly. It's a very difficult position. Playing quarterback's hard, but physically doing it with someone your size or larger, that's really hard to do. And that, I think that's the injury report coming out of Wednesday. Thursday is not as taxing a practice as the Tuesday, Wednesdays are typically, But a week ago, we saw where Georgia lost a wide receiver, at least for some time. And I think that's, so you don't know when guys can get hurt or will get hurt. And that's a big thing that you got to worry about. But, the Thursday night report from the Southeastern Conference, which is coming from the schools. Okay, the schools are mandated to do this for SEC games. And, I think when you take a look at what's happened with Oklahoma this week, they've got a quarterback that's gone from essentially, we don't know if he's going to play, to questionable. And questionable is not the same as probable, and probable is not the same as not being listed at all. But, out means you're not going to play. And, Georgia's had a few guys on that list this season, but it's not going to be like it was last year where you just had way too many guys constantly on the injury report. I mean, ETN, one of Georgia's better players, was constantly on that on that injury report a season ago. So if you got all your guys and you go into this Auburn game, it's a game Georgia should win. It's not a certainty. It's hard to play at Jordan-Hare. One of Kirby's, I think, probably the worst beating he's taken mathematically was at Auburn in 2017. I mean, yeah, they lost to Ole Miss in 2016 over there. That was probably worse. But that was not sort of modern Kirby Smart football. That was his fourth game, I think it was. By the time Georgia was an undefeated team when they played Auburn at Auburn, and just really got thoroughly beaten there. That was in 17 and 19. They got out to a 21-0 lead and had to hold on to win that game against Bo Nix, a freshman Bo Nix in Auburn. 21, Bo Nix still there. A more decisive Georgia win, and then really having to save themselves with Brian Bowers in 2023, and Carson coming alive. Really, that was the fourth game of Carson's starting time. Gunnar Stockton's already been through his fourth start because of the Sugar Bowl, and they still may need some magic from Gunnar. But if I'm not mistaken, in Gunnar's fourth start at Tennessee earlier this year, he had plenty of magic on that one. So the hard part to consider here, I was saying this to my wife yesterday, I think, we're Saturday night when Georgia gets done, they will be halfway through their season. They will be 6 games through their season. And it seems like it takes forever for the season to get here. And then when it gets here, it just flies by. I mean, the 6 weeks there are 10 weeks of summer. Each quarter has 13 weeks. So a football season is essentially a quarter. But I have to say that the 6 weeks before football seem longer than the 6 weeks that you have football. And I say that from a lot of experience of travel and so forth. I mean, this will be Georgia's second road game of the season. And after this, their most difficult road game is at Mississippi State, which is not the same as playing at Neyland or Jordan-Hare. I mean, Georgia will have played in 2 of the most difficult places to play in college football. And we'll just see what happens as time goes on here. I mean, this is a game Georgia should win. And they should beat Ole Miss, whether they beat Auburn or not. Both of these games are the games that they should win. If they do that, and they get to their second break sitting at 6-1, that's been a pretty good start to the year, just frankly. But they're not there yet. And, you can't get to 6-1 without winning at Auburn. And I don't know what the Auburn perspective is here. I think that they feel like they've got a really good defense, which it seems like they do. They have struggled offensively at times in games that were not Baylor. And, I think you got to play well against Georgia to win. And Georgia would have to play well against Auburn and win, but you got to play well against Georgia to win. And you know, I think the way Alabama played against Vanderbilt, I don't know if they'd beat Georgia. Probably, but not certainly. I mean, I think that they played their best game of the season against Georgia so far, and you have to do that against Georgia. It's hard to win against this Georgia team that I'd be curious the longest run against Georgia this season. I can look that up and tell you in final feelings, but I'd be very curious to know this is the longest, run from the line of scrimmage, because it's just hard to do that against Georgia. And if you're not doing that, it's hard to win. So there's only been 2 games where Georgia's permitted an 11-yard run, a 12-yard run or longer. And that was the Tennessee game and the Alabama game. And I mean, Alabama had 3 runs of 10 yards or more. That was it. That's a lot, but that was it. Tennessee had 1, which was Thomas Starr's 27-yard run against the Dogs. So no one else, Kentucky, Austin Peay, Marshall, no one else has had longer than a 12-yard run. Well, I mean, 12-yard run is awesome. I mean, that's a first down almost certainly. That's a long, explosive play. But it's hard to you got to play well against Georgia to win these games. And, what we've seen from Georgia, what we've seen from Auburn, unless something is different in this game that has been in these last 5 games for both schools, Georgia should win the game. You don't want to have a turnover game, but that's what I think. If you get these guys back from injury, particularly, that would help out the situation even more. It gives you the ability to do more things. But in what Georgia, I was talking about how 12-yard runs. I mean, against Marshall, there were 4 people with at least a 12-yard run against Marshall. Against Austin Peay, there were 2 people with at least a 12-yard run. Against Tennessee, there were 4 people with at least a 12-yard run. Against Alabama, I mean, there were 4 people with at least a 12-yard run, 43-yard, 24-yard, 21-yard from. I mean, that's a lot of long runs. Against Kentucky, there were 3 people with at least 12-yard runs. And I think the rest of the season, Georgia has given up, I think, only 1 run of longer than 12 yards. So, and I could be slightly wrong with that. It could be 2, but like Alabama had multiple 10 and 11-yard runs. They had 3. That was it. I mean, like Tennessee only had 1 person that had a double-digit yard run. So that's the hard part. Auburn, I think you could see their receivers are good, but like Matt DeBerry said earlier this week, you're not going to win this game with receivers. Hey, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.